Welcome back to the Comic Book Savant channel. I'm your host, James Harris. This episode, I'm going to be doing a review of Season 6 on Voltron Legendary Defender. If you are unfamiliar with the series, it is on Netflix. They're on Season 6. Technically speaking, this is probably around Season 4, technically. At first, they had longer. They had 13-episode seasons. Recently, they cut it back and doing shorter seasons with less episodes so they can come out more quickly, so it's less of a gap between. So it's not a ton of episodes. I guess roughly you have the first two seasons, which are 26 episodes, which are broken up into two seasons. Then the last four now have been broken up into segments of 7 and 6 season episodes. That they run about 22 minutes per episode, so you can really, over a good weekend, catch up on the series if you're not familiar. If you're unfamiliar at all with the concept of Voltron, it's an 80s cartoon that was pretty popular and sold a lot of toys in the mid-80s. I'm a child of the 80s, so I'm very familiar with the property. What attracted me to the show when it was announced that it was coming out on Netflix is that they had the same team that is responsible for Avatar: The Last Airbender, as well as the Legend of Korra series, which were two phenomenal cartoon series that were put out on Nickelodeon. The producers behind those two shows brought this over to Netflix and have done a wonderful job. And I have to say, by far, this season has been the best season of a already stellar show to date. They really knocked it out the gate, and they're really hitting their stride. They're taking the show in places that I never thought it would. It's way surpassed the original series, which I think the 1980-45 series lasted only a season or maybe two. This is so far surpassed it, added a lot of depth to the world, the characters, stayed true to the essence of the characters, but have made them way more three-dimensional than we could ever get in the cartoon, which again, their main focus back in the day was to really sell toys, which they did a fabulous job because they had a ton of Voltron toys as a kid growing up. But this show is really something else. It appeals, they do their best to balance between appealing to a younger audience, which is children, trying to bring them into a new cartoon, but as well as satisfying hardcore fans like myself that followed the original series as a child. And at times I've had problems in previous seasons. If you've seen other reviews as I've done in the previous seasons, I've done videos now for I think season 3, 4, 5, and now 6 here on the YouTube channel. I've reviewed all 6 seasons. If you go back and look at the Comic Book Savant podcast, I did the first 2 season reviews on there. All the other ones have been done in videos that I will post here to the playlist, so you can check those out. But I have to say, this by far is the strongest. I felt like they dialed in the balance between the humor and the comedy for the kids with some very dark themes and very dark motives and character development that was a little bit more adult than for little kids, but they do a good balancing act, and I think they've dialed it in each season, and I always end up watching these with, I said, my silent partner in the Comic Book Savant brand, which is my wife. We watched these together, and it was one episode that she felt like that was a little bit too cartoony and kind of broke the momentum of the more darker themes. But like I reminded her, and I've gotten accustomed to watching Voltron and more recent cartoons like Star Wars Rebels, which I've also reviewed here on the YouTube channel, that when you're on Disney XD, when you're on somewhere like Netflix, where they're trying to appeal to a mass audience, and children are the demographic for most cartoons, not adults, let's be honest, that you kind of have to have that in there. It didn't bother me nearly as much as it's bothered her, but in previous seasons I felt like it was like 1 or 2 episodes where they were super comedic, over the top, that took me out of the momentum. Here, it only took the 1 episode, but as they're getting deeper and deeper and resolving a lot of ongoing storylines, this season really brought a lot of lingering storylines where I was like, okay, if they do keep drawing this out, it's like it's gonna lose me. They did it in season 5. They start chipping away at some of those big mysteries. They do it even more so, and they they really leave it open by the end of this season on like it's starting a whole new chapter of the show. And I'm like, I really don't know where it's going to. They didn't leave it on so much of a cliffhanger, so I'm really excited to see where the show might go to next. We know, just checking my notes here, that Netflix originally committed to 78 episodes of the series, and as of right now, as of the ending of this season, that leaves about 26 more episodes, or the equivalent of like 4 more seasons. So we'll probably get this rounded out at 10 seasons when it's all said and done. And I don't know, like where this season ends is like, it's literally jaw-dropping. A lot of revelations were made in this season. If you're, trust me, if you haven't watched this cartoon yet, when you have a moment, especially because we're entering into the summer season, set some time aside, and you can chip this away. It goes so fast. I literally just watched this season last night. I blinked my eyes and 22 minutes per episode. So you're getting in, almost 3 episodes an hour. So this takes like 2.5 hours to watch the 7 episodes. It's over before you know it, and it's so engaging. It pulls you right in. So it's not like a chore to watch these. You can really, on a good weekend, if you just want to kick back and relax and really see some cool animation, you can knock this whole series out in a weekend easy, and it will be worth your time. So if you haven't watched it, invest the time. Trust me, if you've watched any of my previous content and you followed some of my recommendations and found something you liked, and you're into cartoons, or if you've ever been interested in Voltron as a kid, or even seen, they have a whole new line of comics out, everything is all over the place right now. This cartoon has really invigorated the Voltron brand. But if you haven't just watched this yet, do it. You won't be disappointed. Trust me. You will not be disappointed by this show at all. They haven't announced when season 7 will come out. They've been pretty much consistent in every 2.5, 3 months dropping it. So I'm assuming at this point, since this just dropped, June 15th, that maybe late August, early September, we'll get season 7. Again, a date hasn't been announced yet. We probably will get something at San Diego Comic-Con because they normally have a big presence there. We'll probably know something. I'm thinking more likely August, at the latest September, because they've been pretty consistent since they shortened the schedules, that they don't go longer than 2 or 3 months between them. So which is perfect for me, because as soon as I kind of forget about, where's Voltron? Boom, new season is getting ready to come out. So they don't have to wait a week or so, which is awesome. And I kind of like that move. At first it was kind of jarring because you go through the season so much faster, but you're getting them so much faster, so you don't have to wait a year. You're getting them every few months, and it's worked well. And the animation has stayed at a high quality. The voice casting, all that has stayed at a very high level, so it wasn't any drop off by doing so. I can't gush about this show any more than I have. Again, it's worth a viewing. If you have Netflix, you owe it to yourself. Check out Voltron Legendary Defender. You won't be disappointed, says the Comic Book Savant. That's all I have for you in this review. Make sure, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, that you please do so. Also, click the bell notification down at the bottom so you can be alerted when new content drops. I normally drop content 2 days out of the week. Tuesdays and Thursdays are normally the days that content drops on the channel. Sometimes I will do double uploads during the course of the week. So again, once you click that bell notification, whenever new content is dropped, you'll get notified immediately. Leave your comments down at the bottom and let me know if you've checked out Voltron Legendary Defender. If you've watched this season, what were your thoughts on it? I would love to hear it down in the comment section. Also, I have an audio podcast that is Comic Book Savant as well, all under the same brand and umbrella. If you are so inclined, check that out on iTunes. I'll have links down in the description box for all of these things that I mentioned, and I also have a playlist of previous TV show reviews that I've done on the channel. That'll be down in the description box as well. So if you like this review and you want to see my thoughts on some other television shows, animated and non-animated comic book related shows, they'll all be down in the description box below. That's all I have for you for this video, and I will see you next time for another episode of Comic Book Savant. You guys take care and happy watching. See you soon.